to Winning the Division, episode number 62. This is Ryan Smith alongside former NFL tight end, my co-host Ben Troupe. We are recording this on Monday night as Bears-Vikings close out week one of the NFL regular season. Ben, let's start with first things first, and let's go ahead and do our players of the week, our not-so players of the week. If you're new to this podcast, as we do this NFL season in week 1 through 17. We take our players that we thought were the top performers and players or teams that were not so good performance. And so players and not so players of the week. So Ben, I will be a gracious host and let you start. Who is your players of the week?
My player of the week, I got to give it to him. Daniel Jones. A guy that we were talking about it before the season started. Smitty, he going to be in the best position to try to beat out Anthony Richardson. And I'm like, am I seeing the right game? And dare I say, Daniel Jones had him a game. Him and Warren and Michael Pittman, those guys. He really, really looked fluid and really, really comfortable in that offense. And I got to give a big shout out to Daniel Jones. He looked really, really good because, like I said, had he went up there and stunk up the joint, I wouldn't have been surprised. But I'm away from my not so player of the week. But Daniel Jones, give him a lot of credit for what he did. I don't know if that's going to be indicative of the rest of the season, but for one game, he made that other team think, do we got the right quarterback? But shout out to Daniel Jones and the Colts, leading them to a big time dominant victory over the Dolphins.
Yeah, that's a really good one. And I considered that one, actually. He was pretty good. But give me Friday night, Justin Herbert, 25 of 34, 318 yards, 3 touchdowns. Jim Harbaugh found out when you actually have an offensive line to protect Justin Herbert, you have a strong running game, and then you allow him to throw the football. Imagine that. Justin Herbert is a big-time dude. He can throw the snot out of the ball, and he's always been underrated, in my opinion. And no, he's not going to be up there with Josh Allen and Lamar and Patrick Mahomes, and you can throw Joe Burrow in there. I think that's everyone's top 4 some order. I think he's right there. He's right in that 6, 7, 8 range. Herbert, if he can do this the rest of the year, he is very much in the conversation for they can win this division. Absolutely. If he can do this the rest of the year. So Justin Herbert I had 2. So Justin Herbert was one of my players of the week. Did you have another one or just Daniel Jones?
Obviously the easy one would be able to say, what Josh Allen was able to do last night. It's just
that was my second one. It's just like unfair, absolutely unfair. I could have given it to Lamar Jackson too, but I decided to go Justin Herbert. But yeah, Josh Allen just absolutely unfair with what he was able to do last night, leading the Buffalo Bills back from that 15-point deficit, the first time ever a team has been trailing that far and coming back in the fourth quarter. 33-46 of 33-46, 394 yards and 2 touchdowns.
394. Wow.
Yeah, 394 yards, 14 carries for 30 yards, and 2 touchdowns on the ground as well. Josh Allen was him, as the kids like to say, last night. And then obviously Derrick Henry, taking it like a man, and saying he cost them the game. We'll get more into that game as we recap. But Josh Allen, absolutely my dominant second co-player of the week. Who is your not so player or team of the week?
My not-so players of the week started with Tua. Man, 14 to 23, 114 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. I could have picked more than Tua for this Miami offense. It was hard to watch. But Tua didn't look fluid. He didn't look comfortable. And like I said, I would have thought Daniel Jones would have looked like Tua, and Tua looked like Daniel Jones. But Tua is my not-so player of the week. And then I'm gonna go up there to Detroit, not Jared Goff. Montgomery and Gibbs, 20 rushes, 39 yards combined. You're not going to win like that. Jared Goff needs that two-headed monster at running back. They let him down. And I know that was kind of a group effort too, because I didn't really see that game going the way it did either. which I got, I'm not saying I'm going to jump on the Jordan Love Green Bay, bandwagon, but I mean, that was domination. That was not a game. So yes, Gibbs and Montgomery and Tua Tagovailoa just didn't look like himself week 1.
So I'll give you a player and a team. My team is the Miami Dolphins. I mean, 8 points against the Indianapolis Colts, 33-8 loss there in Indianapolis, 12 first downs, 46 total plays, 211 total yards on 7 drives, 133 yards passing, 78 yards rushing, 3 turnovers, and had the ball for 21 minutes. It could have been worse too. I mean, they could have gotten shut out, but is it a stretch to say the Dolphins are done? I mean, if they just look, it just doesn't look like an efficient operation. And we can talk more about it in the recap, but they practiced with the Detroit Lions, and I want to say it was the Minnesota Vikings in the preseason. And one of the Lions players went up to a reporter and essentially said, "Yeah, I don't know what they're doing over there. We just whooped them in joint practice."
You talking about the inter squad scrimmage when they had it with Miami.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we're gonna get into it, Smitty, but no one's talking about how much of a guy Tyreek Hill really disrupted that entire team, that entire locker room, because when your best player is always disgruntled, always in a bad mood, always looking for a way out, and I'm look, whatever's going on off the field, I wish him the best. I'm never ever trying to group what goes on off the field, but with Tyreek Hill, that's a part of his persona. That's a part of his resume. He's not a team captain. When they're talking about everything but football, but really killed it was, I think the heart and soul of the defense got traded. Jalen Ramsey gets traded. Jonnu Smith, who broke franchise records at the tight end position, got traded. Darren Waller, the addition, didn't even play. Mm-hmm. I think this comes down to they don't respect Mike McDaniel. He was looking real. I mean, his post-game press conference, I mean, what else did you have to hear when he's talking about, I'm not going to blame it all on Tua. This was a team effort. I was waiting on Jalen Phillips. I was waiting on Bradley Chubb. And that pass rush to get going, it never got going. It was an ugly game all around for the Dolphins. And I'm not saying the Colts are world beaters, but they look like world beaters against them. Yeah, I'm not saying the season is over, but it's going to be a long year for the Dolphins this year.
And then my not-so player of the week, stay with me here. Swifties, don't come after me. Travis Kelce. Knocking out his own teammate Xavier Worthy to a dislocated shoulder. I mean, you would have thought Travis Kelce had some words for Xavier Worthy. I mean, good Lord, knocked him into yesteryear. Travis Kelce didn't, and I know I'm not trying to say him specifically had a bad game. I'm just saying from the standpoint of, he some friendly fire on Xavier Worthy, knocked his shoulder out, and now Worthy might be missing some time. And so for that reason, Travis Kelce is my not-so player of the week because, he took out his own teammate, and it was a serious injury. So,
I mean, I saw that play, and I was like, dude, hey, man, look out for that truck. I was like, and that's the thing with them crossing routes, they always trying to rub one defender against the other one. They're really not running this route at depth. They look like they was running underneath the linebackers. But yeah, somebody had the right depth, somebody had the wrong depth, and unfortunately for Xavier Worthy, he took the worst of it. Now he's gonna be out for some significant. A separated shoulder. Talk about a collision. Come on, Travis, man. Congratulations on your engagement, but you're supposed to run. You're supposed to hit the people with the other color jersey on, not the one in red. Just saying.
Yeah. All right, well, let's that was our players and not so players of the week. Let's get into now our week 1 recap here across the National Football League. We'll start with the opening game in past Thursday night, which saw the Philadelphia Eagles defeat the Dallas Cowboys 24-20 behind Jalen Hurts and company, as otherwise known as Spitgate, Ben, with Jalen Carter getting ejected right after the first play off the kickoff.
Yeah, that really disturbed me. Let me tell you something. Everybody want to talk about was Dak in the wrong because he spit at him first. People spit. I've spit, Smitty, you've spit. And he spit at the ground, and Jalen Carter, I guess, came up to him and said, "Did you spit at me?" He spit on him. Jalen Carter, there's no room for that. Anybody that's in favor of what Jalen Carter did, man, come on. We better than that, right? Look, I mean, we don't do stuff like that. Jalen Carter, it was a mistake, and we're not going to hold nobody to their worst mistake. Nobody wants to be held to that. Yeah. There's nasty, there's disrespect, and there's both for what Jalen Carter did. But I will say this about Jalen Carter. He did take full accountability and responsibility for what he did. He wasn't trying to point the finger, place the blame. It was dumb. Right. But I think the story of this game is the Dallas Cowboys coming up two CD Lamb drop short of when they could have won this.
They could have won. Exactly.
This was. I keep saying this. When Dak Prescott is healthy, they got a shot, not just in the NFC East, but the NFC. Now, they had some George Pickens sightings. AJ Brown had one catch. One. The Dallas Cowboys with no Michael Parsons held Saquon Barkley in check. He did not go off like you normally see him doing. This is going to be a fight to the finish in this NFC because I think Jaden Daniels and the Commanders are going to have something to say about it. Unfortunately, the Giants. But I was very, very – Eagles get the win, taking nothing away from it, even with the distraction of a Jalen Carter. I was very, very impressed with Dallas Cowboys, with Dak and company, and what they was able to do. Jalen Hurts, took what the defense gave him, but they could have easily won this game. But shout out to the defending champs. They held their own. An ugly game, in the NFC East, everybody knows each other. These games are going to be hard fought. But I was very, very impressed with Brian Schottenheimer and the Cowboys. Keeping the main thing, not really talking about who's not there anymore, focusing on who is there. And like I said, CeeDee Lamb come up with the 2 catches. I'm not saying they win it. I'm saying they put them in position to, go ahead. Head down for the go-ahead score. And dare I say, this will be a total different Monday. And we talking about the Dallas Cowboys upsetting the defending champs. But Eagles, shout out to the Eagles for getting the win. But I'm very impressed with the Cowboys. I'm very impressed.
Let's go to Brazil, Sao Paulo, where the Chargers take down the Kansas City Chiefs. Los Angeles Chargers 27-21 over the Kansas City Chiefs, where Justin Herbert led the way with 3 touchdown passes, 25 of 34, 318 yards. And the Chargers get the opening win. Not only 1-0, but also 1-0 in the division as well.
Well, you said it. You said it to me when we first came on. We talked first things first. Justin Herbert, no one has ever said he can't throw it with the best of them. No one has ever said he doesn't have the potential to be not only a top 5 quarterback, but a potential face of the league. But you got to do it. But you have to do it in prime time against guys like Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Patrick Mahomes. Well, he did. He went straight up with Patrick Mahomes, and they won it. And it was an impressive fashion. I mean, Justin Herbert was making some – every time it looks like Kansas City was trying to make a run, they go a big-time throw. Every time it looks like Kansas City was going to seize the momentum, another big-time throw. And like I said, Smitty, it's only one game. We ain't losing our mind. The people in Brazil, y'all had a treat, right? Y'all got treated to an incredible game. When you talk about what the National Football League has done as far as growing the game internationally, that's why. You always want to put on a good show internationally because you don't really have one side. I mean, you're going to have every representation of every team in Brazil. But for one night, in Brazil, it was about Justin Herbert. I mean, there are people that stand and this is supposed to be about Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes played with Kansas City, but this guy Justin Herbert, he found a way to go out there and get it done. And it was a team effort in impressive fashion. Chris Jones, you can't go inside on a 3rd down when he can run on the outside. You can't take that inside. You can't go on the inside and get bottled up and they get the 1st down, game over. But shout out to Justin Herbert getting it done with his legs. Get it done with his arm, get it done, with his mind. And for one night, it was a Justin Herbert show. Shout out to them Chargers.
Let's go now to Sunday, where we saw the main slate across the NFL here in week number 1. We'll start in the Superdome. The Arizona Cardinals take down the New Orleans Saints 20-13. Kyler Murray with 1 for 1 of 29 for 2 touchdowns, 163 yards in total. It was actually Trey Benson with 8 carries for 69 yards, outshining James Conner, his fellow mate in the backfield. But Kyler Murray, not 100% with an illness, woke up on Sunday morning and played through it and was able to guide the Cardinals to this 1-0 start.
Very, very impressed with the Cardinals. I mean, we know it's going to be a long season for the Saints, but here's the thing. Here's the stat that no one's talking about. Spencer Rattler, 27 to 46, 214 yards. He threw the ball 46 times. That's not a recipe for success. I don't care who the team is. I think what I do appreciate about this Saints team, they didn't go away. Once again, they probably wasn't going to win the game, but Smitty, they were in the game. They were very, very much in the game, and I got to give a lot of credit. Even Kyler Murray battling it out. You know, Marvin Harrison, 5 catches, 71 yards, 1 touchdown. You know they're going to make it a point to get him the ball this year, going to be that go-to guy. But Arizona, they're looking around the division. We got to get these wins, you know, when we can, because San Francisco, they coming. I mean, you know what, Seattle's going to be there, but this is all about Arizona. Sorry, Saints, it's going to be a long year for you, just like it's going to be a long year for the Miami Dolphins. But for one, you know, but like I said, Kyler Murray, he's starting off hot, 1-0. Smitty, can he keep the momentum? Because here's the thing about Arizona. They'll fade away real quick during the season if they're not playing well because they're not a media darling. But they got it done, and I appreciate the Saints for understanding that we do still pay money for our ticket for these subscriptions to see these guys, and they weren't decompeted. It wasn't a blowout.
Yep, and they take on my Carolina Panthers in week number 2 in the State Farm Stadium for their home opener. So we'll talk about the Panthers in just a little bit, but Arizona, Carolina coming up in week 2. Let's go to Indianapolis. What saw the Miami Dolphins lose to the Indianapolis Colts by a score of 33-8. We already outshined Tua a little bit, 14-23, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions for 114 yards. But it was Daniel Jones, 272 yards passing, 22-29, and a touchdown as the Colts win 33-8.
You knew this was going to be a long game because the first drive of the season with the Miami Dolphins going out, Tua he overthrew Tyreek Hill, got a pick, and it was downhill from there. I mean, Tyler Warren, first round pick out of Penn State, is going to be a stud. I know Brock Bowers had an incredible rookie year. I think Tyler Warren is going to be able to potentially shadow some records with the way they're using him. Michael Pittman is going to have a big year with the way they was using him. But this is all about Daniel Jones, his rhythm, his timing, his company, being comfortable in the pocket, taking what the defense is giving him, not throwing the ball to the other team. And if you the only person that was disappointed in that, up there with in Indy was Anthony Richardson. He was like, dude, you telling me this is how I had to look? Yeah. This is a rhythm type run. You talk about the running game. You talk about Tyler Warren. You talk about Michael Pittman. You talk about this defense. Xavier Howard, former Miami Dolphin, calls a fumble.
I was gonna ask
former
about
teammate. Tua had 2 picks. This was about everything the coach did and about everything that the Miami Dolphins didn't do. I mean, unless you know who Tyreek Hill, he was on the side of a milk carton. You really didn't get to see that much from him. And I just think that when I think about Tua, I wonder, is Tua hurt? Is Tua dealing with something? I know him and the dynamic with Tyreek Hill's not going good. But Smitty, this wasn't even a game. Like, this was a beat down. Like, at one point, it was 30-0. It was 30-0. So I don't know if this is indicative of how the Colts are going to play and how the Dolphins are going to play, but this should be cause for concern because I know we had Mr. Omar Kelly on one of our podcasts talking, we was previewing the divisions. He was on X today doing damage control. Like, dude, I do my best to try to get y'all ready for this team. He said Stevie Wonder couldn't see this coming, but it's only one game. But no one knows who you are with the first game of the season. But if you are the coach, you'll take it. And if you are Miami, they're going to have to get better in a hurry.
How about the revenge game for Pete Carroll going to Foxborough, where he was the coach one time for the New England Patriots back in the day? The Las Vegas Raiders 20-13 over the New England Patriots to start out 1-0. It was Geno Smith getting the win over Drake May. Geno Smith, 24 of 34, 1 touchdown, 362 yards passing. And Ashton Genty only rushed for 38 yards, but he got a touchdown also in his rookie debut. Brock Bowers, their star tight end, leaving with an ankle injury. So unfortunate to hear that for Brock Bowers. But the Raiders were able to get the win 20-13 over New England.
Listen, Geno understood what Pete Carroll was trying to get done on offense, and they got it done. You mentioned Brock Bowers. Listen, the backup tight end, Mayer, he was out there getting it done too. I mean, him and Brock Bowers, they was eating. as you mentioned, Ashton Jenkins is going to be a star. I think right now he's just trying to figure out. It was a rainy game, so you're dealing with the elements. Kayshon Boutte, he's going to be really, really good. I like what I saw from Drake May. I mean, when you talk about a guy like Drake May and what he's going to mean to this offense, he's going to be good. I mean, it's going to be him and Stephon Diggs and company. But once again, I'm not taking nothing away from these Raiders. I mean, there was once again Max Crosby. He didn't make really any impact on the game, and the Raiders still came out with the win. They're going to be 2 tight end sets with Ashton Jenkins, with Geno, with Jacoby Myers and those guys, and they're gonna run the ball down your throat. They're gonna come at you with the 2 tight ends, and then just when you step up, they're gonna hit you with that play action. If you are Drake May and company and Mike Vrabel and company, nothing to feel bad about. It wasn't a blowout. It was a really, really good win. Pete Carroll is establishing the culture in Las Vegas the same way he did up there in Seattle, and it looked good. I mean, they look really, really good. Geno Smith is the one that's making it all come together because he understands the culture that Pete Carroll is trying to build. And like I said, he looked at Brock Bowers is cheat code. You cannot stop the dude. Geno cannot stare him down because on the pick, I mean, he's surrounded by blue jerseys. But when the last time we can say Raiders win week 1 of the season? It's been a long time. We've been able to say a shout out to the Raiders from Las Vegas.
Let's go to MetLife Stadium where we saw Aaron Rodgers. He says he got revenge. I guess. The Steelers get the win over the New York Jets, 34-32 behind Aaron Rodgers, 4 touchdown passes. He was 22 of 34, 244 yards. Justin Fields, 16 of 22 in his own right for 218 yards and a touchdown in a losing effort. But does this say more about the Jets or the Steelers? As Aaron Rodgers, I just want to say this really quick about Aaron Rodgers. He says it was good for him to get the win and remind the people in the Jets organization that he could still, sling a football. But Ben, let's be honest, did the Jets not do everything Aaron Rodgers wanted them to do when he was there, including signing Alan Lazard and Randall Cobb and other players that I'm forgetting right now? And it's not like they didn't do everything you wanted them to do, Aaron, when you were there. So anyway, I'm being petty. Go ahead.
No, you're right. And they also signed his best friend, Devontae Adams, right? Who I think was living with him before he was able to find somewhere to live. I don't like when things don't go well and you want to blame it on your ex. No. She did everything she could, to try to please you, Aaron. It just didn't happen that way, and y'all broke up, and y'all just switched. Justin went to New York. You go to Pittsburgh. This is about the Jets. I'm gonna tell you why. Justin Fields had accounted for 3 touchdowns, one through the air, 2 on the ground, and he looked good. I mean, he looked really, really good. I think the thing about both of these defenses, everybody talking about, Sauce Gardner getting his money, and, him and Quentin Williams and, and those guys on that defense, they look really, really bad. Everybody talking about this Pittsburgh. Who's going to throw in this Pittsburgh Steelers secondary with Joey Porter Jr. and Darius Slay and Jalen Ramsey? Justin Fields. And he threw all over that secondary. He did what he wanted to do. This came down to who had the ball last. And the Jets, Aaron Glenn is establishing a culture in New York. And I like what I saw. If you are Justin Fields, you was on the losing end, but you also looked at Mike Tomlin and said, cool. You didn't want me, you wanted him. Cool. But I almost beat you. This was one. Had it not been for the Sunday night game, this would have been the game of the week. This game was incredible if you got a chance to see it. I am happy for Justin Fields. He is in a new place with a team that wants him, a team that's letting him be himself, and it was a good game. DK Metcalf looks like a freaking mutant. Now, this dude looks like a creative player when he's out there. Aaron Rodgers had 4 touchdown passes. It was very, very impressive, and they needed every last one of them. But shout out to them Jets. Once again, Jets are going to be real similar to a New England Patriots team. They're going to be fighting to not be a bottom feeder in this division and not in the AFC. But if that's what we can look forward to for the Jets, they're going to be a hard team to play. But shout out to the Steelers for getting the win.
Let's go to the nation's capital where we saw the Washington Commanders get a 21-6 victory over the New York Football Giants. Russell Wilson throwing the ball 37 times for 168 yards. On the other side, Jaden Daniels 19-30, 233 yards and a touchdown. But the Commanders lower scoring than I thought potentially, but that defense for the Giants was able to get home a few times with Brian Burns and Kevin Thibodeau and company, but not enough on the offensive side of the ball. As I said, Commanders pick up the win 21-6.
Jaden Daniels, I don't think Jaden Daniels is going to have a sophomore slip up. I don't think he's going to have a sophomore slump. Not from what I saw. He looked comfortable. He did what he wanted to do. Him and Cliff Kingsbury, they got something going on, and it shows that when you got an offensive coordinator, quarterback coach, and a guy like Cliff Kingsbury with a guy like Jaden Daniels. It was, I mean, scary Terry. He missed him on a big throw, had a couple of throws, but Deebo Samuel, I like the way they using him. I mean, he had a rushing touchdown. They tried to get him on the screen. They throwing him the football. Zach Ertz, blast from the pass. He had a touchdown. Deron Payne was bringing the pain to Russell Wilson and company all day long. Here's the thing about Russell Wilson. Do I think he's a guy for the Giants? Yes. Do I think Malik Neighbors is one of the best receivers in the league? Yes. And outside of that, it's gonna be a long year too for them Giants because they're gonna find a way to shut down Malik Neighbors. They're gonna make Russell Wilson beat them with someone else. And then Brian Burns and Thibodeau and Abdul Carter and Dexter Lawrence, they had a good showing, not good enough. Because I'm gonna judge the Giants on quarterbacks that are mobile. If it's a guy sitting in the pocket like a statue, they got a shot to get him, Smitty. But Jalen Daniels he's a smooth operator, man. He's a cool, calm, and collected customer when he's out there. He just makes it look easy, even though it's not. And I like what I saw from the Commanders. I know they looking at the Eagles saying, look, we ain't going. They telling the Eagles we ain't going nowhere. We play football up here in the nation's capital too. I know it's probably hard getting to the stadium without a Army National Guard outside. That's another story for another day if you are in DC. But I like what I saw. I like what I saw from Jaden Daniels. I like what I saw from Austin Eckler. I like what I saw from Zach Ertz. Like what I saw, from Deebo Samuels. I like what I saw from that defense. Marshawn Lattimore. I forgot that Marshawn Lattimore was no longer a Saint. Now he's up there in the nation's capital, but he had his hands full with Malik Neighbors. But we knew that the Giants going to be a long year. I'm trying to see how Coach Brian DeBoer has already come out and said that Russell Wilson will be the starter in week 2. But the question is, Smitty, how long will he be the starter before we see Jackson Dart? But shout out to the Commanders.
Let's keep going in as my screen is frozen here. Okay, here we go. Let's go to Cleveland. A Cincinnati Bengals close victory, 17-16. Joe Burrow and company escaping the jungle of Cleveland. Joe Burrow, 14-23 for 1 touchdown, 113 yards. Very low scoring, low percentages for the Bengals on this day. Joe Flacco, 290 yards passing, 31 of 45, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. But the Bengals came up with a key interception at the end to seal it. 17-16, low scoring affair there in Cleveland.
I was very, very impressed with how the Browns played. The thing is, the one thing the Browns suffer from is drops. Jared Jeudy led the National Football League last year with 13 drops. He had a couple of bad drops on Sunday. This was a game that could have easily gone back and forth because they shut Jamar Chase down. No, not kind of. Now, T. Higgins had some okay throws. They shut him down. Joe Burrow is going to have to improvise a lot. Myles Garrett, when Myles Garrett decides you're not going to block him, you're not going to block him. He does what he wants. When he won't. But missed extra point, Jared Jeudy, and listen, Harold Fanning out of Bowling Green, he's gonna be a player. Him and David Njoku, they're gonna be some players over there at the tight end position. He's gonna be the do-it-all tight end for the Cleveland Browns. But the Browns were extremely competitive. Cedric Wilson was out there looking good. Chase Brown, I don't know if you got him on your fantasy. He is shifty. He is shifty. I'm mad that I didn't get him. And for those of you who are in fantasy, this was my first year doing fantasy football. I didn't, I was doing it with a bunch of inexperienced people, but Chase Brown looked really, really good. Noah Fant had a nice touchdown on the goal line. This is going to come down to for the Cincinnati Bengals. They're going to have to play really, really good offense while their defense is still finding its way. Defense looked good, but you're talking about getting a game-sealing pick, to beat the Browns. That's how you had to beat them. A game-sealing pick to beat them. But the Browns did not lay down like I've been saying that all show long. I like the fact they showed a lot of fight, Smitty. But we kind of knew that this was going to be a Browns team. Like Joe Flacco is a starter now. How long before they go to? Is it Dylan? Is it Shador? We don't know. But Joe Flacco did the best he could. Joe Flacco's 40 years old, starting in the National Football League. And people be saying, hey, man, how good of a player has Joe Flacco been? That's how good he's been. The oldest player in the National Football League played for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's 43 years old. I'm sorry, he's 42 years old. Joe Flacco is 40, and they're both starters. So it just shows you when you can play at the high, you can play quarterback at a, you know what I'm saying, at a high level, you got a shot to start a long time. But I like the game. It was sloppy for the Cincinnati side, even sloppier on the Brown side. Made it a real competitive game. Myles Garrett showed you why he get paid what he get paid. Trey Hendrickson had a side. He had a sack. And like I said, they shut Jamar Chase down, but the Bengals still come out with the win.
Let's go to your game in the Mercedes-Benz Dome as the Atlanta Falcons and the Tampa Bay Bucks did battle in a division game in week 1 of the NFC South. Tampa Bay gets the win 23-20 after a 44-yard field goal by Younghoe Koo was missed. That would have tied the game and sent it to overtime. Baker Mayfield 17-32 for 3 touchdowns. Michael Penix 42 attempts, 27-42 for 298 yards and a touchdown.
Smitty, the reason why I'm always talking to you about efficiency and I don't get caught up in these box score numbers like 250 yards, 350 yards. Baker Mayfield 17-32, 163 yards, 3 touchdowns. The 2 of them went to a rookie. Who was that rookie? You mean Emeka Egbuka? He was tearing our secondary up. Think about this. We finally was able to neutralize Mike Evans, right? Was looking okay on the defensive side. Now the pass rush still isn't what you want to be, but when you're led by 2 first-round rookies, it's going to be that. I like what I saw from Michael Penix, though. Oh yeah, he was trying to get the ball to Kyle Pitts. Obviously, you know what Drake London is. The best player on the field is Bijan Robinson. Bijan Robinson is cheat code. Bijan Robinson has Saquon Barkley ability. I did not say he was Saquon. I said he has that type of ability. In the open field, it is unfair. You're not going to touch it. But Younghoe Koo, what do we got? What are we doing? It's like, let me say it. There's a book called Kickers Are People Too. And I've read it. I have to keep reading it, Smitty. But Younghoe Koo, he's not the best kicker in the league, but he's pretty clutch. So I thought, because he missed one early in the game, I'm like, Younghoe, what are we doing? Shout out to Georgia Southern, Younghoe Koo, he's an alma mater. But the Bucks are the culture and class of the NFC South. Michael Penix looked seasoned on Sunday. He was a gunslinger. He's a lefty, just like Michael Vick. No, he is not Michael Vick, by the way. He's just a lefty. And he kept us in the game, using his legs, using his feet. It's just, for the Falcons, they got to find a way to win these type games because I think it's going to be tight down the stretch. And they got to find a way to win these tight division games with a team like the Bucks, who we know, Smitty, I know we're going to get to your Panthers. It's like you got 3 teams trying to take down one team because they've been the best team the last 4 years. But Baker Mayfield, I think he's at a position and a point in his career. He don't care about stats. He cares about W's. And that's how he played on Sunday. It wasn't his best effort, but he made the throws when he needed to. And the Bucs found a way to get it done. I think Michael Penix is going to learn from this. I think you're going to grow with a guy like that. But this game was too close. I thought they were going to go to overtime and flip a coin, whoever had the best shot. When he missed it, I was like, man, turn the TV. And I'm talking to myself. I'm like, turn it off. And I'm talking to myself. I turned the TV off. Game over. But shout out to the Bucs. They get the win. Have to move on.
And was Drake London? I believe I saw he left with an injury as well.
Yeah. I don't know how serious it is. With the week 1 injuries, guys that don't play a lot in the preseason but get all their work in the inter squad scrimmages. That's why I'm not a fan of not playing the preseason. Even you just running around not getting throws because you got to turn it on week 1. And the last time we see you play in the real action was last year. Come on, man, you got to warm them hamstrings up because we know there's a lot of brother-in-law be going on the training camp.
All right, and then we go to Jacksonville, Florida, the last 1 o'clock game, and before we get to the 4 o'clock at night game, 26-10 victory for the Jacksonville Jaguars over my Carolina Panthers. Trevor Lawrence was efficient, 19-31, 178 yards and a touchdown. Also had a sweet interception by J.C. Horn, threw that one right to him. Bryce Young, 18-35 on the other side, 1 touchdown. 2 interceptions. Chuba Hubbard had a touchdown on the air, 27-yard touchdown catch, the only Panthers touchdown of the day. Ted McMillan, 5 catches for 68 yards in his debut. A nice one-hander down the sideline, including one of those catches. I'll just say it really quick, and I'll let you get into it. For my Panthers, I was disappointed with the effort. I thought they were very unprepared and they were unfocused, and there was a lot of mental mistakes, high snaps, the execution with Bryce at the snap count, 1 or 2 seconds on the play clock before getting the ball snapped. Defense still allowed 200 yards rushing to the Jaguars, 71-yarder for ETN, one big play. Lost Turk Wharton to a hamstring injury after the first quarter, who's doing pretty well in the run defense. Yeah, I mean, what are you going to say? And then there was a weather delay for over an hour, so obviously that hampered things as well. But I think all these things are pretty correctable. My only offense, I think, is going to be fine. Eliminate the pre-snap stuff and don't turn over the ball. I think the offense is going to be fine. Defense is where I'm continuing to see, there's still lack of depth. There's still not a lot of pieces there on the offensive side or in the pass rush ability, kind of like your Falcons. So that's kind of a work in progress there as Princely and Scorton get more playing time. But, very favorable schedule for the Panthers, but not the best start for my team as we are, like I said, 0-1 going to Arizona next week, where, again, another very winnable game, but the Panthers have got to execute.
This came down to the second quarter. Panthers was in the second quarter. The defense gives us 17 points. They was playing catch-up. When I'm looking at Bryce Young, he looks very, very gun shy. It's like he don't want to pull the trigger. On his first pick, he should have just ran it. He didn't have to throw it. He should have just ran it. He missed Hunter Renfrow on the first down. But this wasn't about Bryce Young. And this wasn't even about the lack of effort from Xavier Legette, for which it is showing on tape. Legette,
I didn't even talk about that.
It's like, if you're not going to block, if you're not going to get open, you're not helping the team. And I know this is only one game. Tank Bigsby, the backup to Travis Etienne, got traded to the Eagles. Travis Etienne is still running. He's still running. I don't get what's up with this run defense, but they're going to have to get – I will never, ever use the word soft when it comes to any NFL player. But I will use a little, kind of shaky. I'm like, why are these holes so big? 143 yards on 16 carries or whatever. That's ridiculous.
It's a lot of Panther fans say it's the scheme. The 3 instead of a 4-3 like they're used to doing. We're in a 3-4 now under Avero. And
it goes back to what we said last year, Smitty. You got to be able to be interchangeable. Meaning, if you need to have more about 3-4-4-3 hybrid. If it is not working with your personnel, they're not going to blame the personnel. They're going to blame the orchestrator of the personnel. I get it when these defensive coordinators come in and say, I got this scheme. Do you have the personnel? Because when you don't got the biggest, outside linebackers with Princely and those guys, for me, it came down to the defense not being able to stop. If you can't stop the run, Trevor Lawrence, De'Ami Brown looked good. Brian Thomas, he had a showing. And Travis Hunter, I guess. Travis, if Travis Hunter was the second overall pick, you wasn't even looking for him. He didn't have. It was about Strange and company, and I'm talking about Strange, the tight end and company. That's who they was having a problem with covering. It is, once again, I'm gonna keep on saying it's week 1. We don't know what you got in week 1, but if you are Bryce Young can only do one. Ted did look good. Hunter Renfrow did make a play. Xavier Legette, I'm not understanding it right now. You're just out there, and I know I don't know the scheme. But it's gonna have to look better than that. Jacksonville gets the win, but this is more about this is less about what the Jags did do, and more about what the Panthers didn't do. But it is week 1. They're gonna have to get it right in a hurry because you only get 3 days for your next game.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, J.C. Horn, sir. Really?
That was a great pick. Great pick.
Not only was the pick nice, he gets up and looks at Trevor Lawrence like, "Are you serious? You're gonna try me? Sorry, yeah, you better take that to the other side. We don't play that over here. That was nice.
Yeah, it was nice. I was very proud of that. Moving on, 4:00 games. 49ers 17-13 over the Seattle Seahawks in Lumen Field up there with the 12s. what saw George Kittle leave with a hamstring injury. So that is a loss for the 49ers. But Brock Purdy, 2 touchdowns through the air, 2 interceptions, though, 26 of 35, 277 yards. Quiet day for Sam Darnold, 16 of 23 for 150 yards. Christian McCaffrey in his return from injury last season, 69 yards on 22 carries and 73 yards through the air.
Seattle could have won this game. This came down to, Ricky Pearsall did look good. He looked really, really good. I mean, he set up that go-ahead. The tight end that caught the touchdown, I don't even know if that's his third, I think 3 career catches his entire career with his first touchdown catch. First touchdown catch.
Tongas or something, yeah.
Fred Warner is everywhere. I don't know how he makes the plays that he makes, but he is everywhere. Trent Williams, he kind of lost a step a little bit. Looked good, but not what I'm used to seeing from a guy like Trent Williams. I like, Njigba, Jackson, he's going to be a star. I think this Seattle team is showing why they're going to be around. They might be a playoff team. This was a really, really good game. Brock Purdy earned this money that last drive. Because at first you're thinking, did we overpay? Is he not what we think he was? The fullback made a bunch of plays, for San Francisco. Yeah, but this was a good game. I mean, I think the thing is though, they blocked the freaking field goal. DeMarcus Lawrence, I mean, he come up with a fumble recovery. As you mentioned, C-Mac looked very regular. I mean, very regular. But
for him, that's
and thank God that Nick Bosa had the fumble recovery. And here's the thing: the last play,
that was a nice play from Bosa.
Well, Bosa did get pressure, and Sam Darnold's arm hit his right tackle, and when he was coming making fumble, and Bosa got on it. So thank God, because we're gonna say Nick Bosa was gonna be on a milk carton because they had him. They had him neutralized, but it was a really, really good division game. I think this Seattle team is figuring out how they got Coach McDonald and their entire identity. And like I said, they 49ers came out with the win, but I do know that Seattle's going to beat it. This was a really, really good game. But shout out to the 49ers.
And let's keep the train moving here. The shocker of the day in some people's eyes, I guess, the Packers over the Lions in Lambeau, Green Bay 27, Detroit 13, as Jordan Love and company showed no mercy. Micah Parsons off that Dallas trade, chasing down Jared Goff like there's no tomorrow. The Green Bay Packers had themselves a day in the Super Bowl contention. Conversation is real there in Green Bay. Jared Goff, 225 yards, 39 passes, 31 to 39, 1 touchdown. But Jordan Love, 2 touchdowns, 188 yards as the Packers get the win, 27-13.
The Packers dominate the Lions. The Lions look how I thought the Packers would be. The Packers look how I thought the Lions would be. Dan Campbell came out and said, look, you don't know what your team are till like week 4, week 5. Run game was shut down. The quote of the game was Micah Parsons saying, as long as I played in Dallas, I ain't never heard a crowd like this. This crowd was crazy. I ain't never heard anything like this. And he said, I'm no longer in the NFC East, so I don't have to deal with Lane Johnson. Me and Penei Sewell, he's an incredible player. We're going to go at it. I know I'm going to see him twice a year. Jordan Love is putting the entire National Football League on notice and saying, I am here. I am coming. Y'all need to get ready. And I'm going back to what Smitty said. We was doing all the previews. We went to the NFC North. He said, look, I know you talk about the Lions. To me, I think it's going to be Jordan Love and the Green Bay. And this is before we knew they were going to have Micah Parsons, right? I think Micah Parsons had a sack. I want to say Rashad Gary had 2 sacks. The Green Bay Packers have a winning recipe. They have a winning tradition. Jordan Love is continuing that winning tradition. The Detroit Lions, we said they're going to have to replace 2 key components. That would be Ben Johnson, who is now coaching right now with the Chicago Bears, and Aaron Glenn, who lost on Sunday to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Head coach, when you replace that offensive defensive coordinator, you're going to struggle. I didn't know they were going to struggle like this. But it is only one game. I'm going to keep on saying that. But for one game, it don't look like it's going to be a long year, especially if they can't get that running game going.
We saw in LA the Los Angeles Rams take down the Houston Texans 14-9 in a very low-scoring affair there in SoFi. Matthew Stafford's back looking just fine. CJ Stroud, on the other hand, that offensive line not looking very good for the Houston Texans. Puka Nacua, Kyron Williams doing their thing as the Texans go to 0-1. The Rams 1-0.
This goes back to what I keep saying about the Houston Texans in the AFC South. While they are respected as being the best team, nobody's afraid of them. And you just mentioned the offensive line for the Texans, it's gonna. I mean, I hope that C.J. Stroud got his Ben Gay, got his Cole Tubbs ready because he's gonna be running for his life all year. If Nico Collins right now is your number one receiver, they find a way to neutralize him. You're talking about Nick Chubb as your starting running back. Now the defense. I mean, when you talk about what they got at Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson Jr. and the secondary, you didn't score offensive touchdown. That's gonna be it's gonna be hard to win like that. But this is about Matthew Stafford and company. Matthew Stafford missed the entire preseason. He came out there, he was throwing dimes. Him and Puka Nacua. You talk about him and Devontae Adams. The Rams have, I want to say, what is this year? 17 or something like that? For a guy, Matthew Stafford. If Matthew Stafford got time in the pocket, he will pick you apart. And this is a Houston Texans team that's very, very good. The Silver got a shot to be the division winner in the AFC South, even though the coach gonna have something to say about maybe the Jaguars. Well, this is about Matthew Stafford and company, what they did, and what the Houston Texans, we have a big problem because the O-line, the secondary, and the weapons around C.J. Stroud. I don't know how they're going to find a way to get it done because the only person making trades right now is Howie Roseman up there with the Eagles. This dude is always doing something. God, he never sleeps. That's why I can't stand him. Even though he went to the University of Florida, that's another show for another day. But shout out to the Rams, who's looking at the Cardinals, who's looking at the 49ers and say, hey, we play football over here too, and we ain't going nowhere.
And let's finish in Mile High. Cam Ward found out what the National Football League is about. A 20-12 victory for the Denver Broncos over the Tennessee Titans. Cam Ward, 112 yards passing, 12 of 28. Bo Nix, on the other hand, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions thrown, 25 of 40, 176 yards as the Broncos take down the Titans 20-12.
Cam Ward, to me, is going to be a really similar situation in year one than Bryce Young was in year two under Coach Canales. Coach Callahan up there with the Titans. I really don't know what he's doing with Cam Ward right now because they really don't have an offensive identity. Yes, he's going to need guys like Calvin Ridley to kind of catch the ball. Calvin. Anyway, you need your stars to help you. Jeffrey Simmons, stop getting unsportsmanlike conduct on third down. That is extending the Let me come. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm a Falcons fan. I played for the Titans.
You played for the Titans. They're your former team. They drafted you.
But here's the thing, Smitty. The biggest concern is Bo Nix. Everybody kept saying, can Bo Nix carry over the momentum of 2024, 2025? He did not play well. They won the game. He did not look good either. And if you are Sean Payton, the question is going to start saying, is the offense is it overcomplicated for him? You need to simplify it for him. You only won because you're going up against the Titans. If this is a halfway better team than the Titans, you lose, and you probably lose by double digits. So this is a matter of who you played, not how you played. And them all orange unis was looking nice. I will say that. Bo Nix is going to have to really, really get back to 2024 because it sounds like he's trying to do too much in the offense that's built to run the football and try to open up the pass with Cortland Sutton and company and Evan Ingram and company. But this was about the Titans and what they're gonna do with Cam Ward. This is about the Broncos and they got a lot of concerns with a guy like Bo Nix, especially now. Bo Nix is coming to make the playoffs. Kansas City lost to the Chargers, right? And the Raiders won. So I don't know what the Denver thinking about 2025, but they might be standing up as being a bottom feeder, looking up at the Raiders, at Kansas City, and the Chargers. But they did get the week 1 win.
And then, as we mentioned earlier, the best game of the day was that Sunday Night Football thriller in Buffalo, 41-40. The Buffalo Bills take down the Baltimore Ravens in that 1-point victory. Derrick Henry with the late fumble, getting the Bills the door opportunity to swing the door open, which they did, and they get the last-second runoff field goal, literally runoff field goal, as they had to do the Chinese fire drill to end the game and make sure Matt Prater, the 19th year kicker, which as the Chris Collinsworth did a good job explaining that last night, been on many of teams in his career, who is the kicker right now for the Bills, taking over for Tyler Bass on IR, the Bills' regular kicker, with the walk-off as the Bills with the 1-point comeback, 15-point victory in the fourth quarter.
This is poise versus panic. If you are Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills, and one thing about Josh Allen is, as long as he got breath in his lungs, as long as he got an opportunity and time on the clock, they got a shot to win it. You're up by 8 with 6 minutes left. How do you lose that game? And I'm talking about the Ravens. You up by 8. It came down to one thing. I don't care what Derrick Henry did quarters 1, quarters 2, and quarter 3. You fumbled. You fumbled in crunch time, and no one's gonna care about all that other stuff. If you know they're gonna be punching at the ball, right, Derek? You know they're gonna be trying to get the ball out to get a turnover, and you fell right into it. This was a battle of MVPs. I think that Josh Allen is the best quarterback in football right now, and he proved it on Sunday night. I think Lamar Jackson is 1B. Lamar Jackson is cheat code. Only problem is you got a better code on the other side. His name is Josh Allen. Keon Coleman, year 2 out of Florida State. Monster game. 8 catches over 100 yards and a touchdown. What is up with the Baltimore Ravens not knowing how to put teams away? That is their Achilles heel. Since Lamar Jackson has been there, they can't keep a lead, right? Or they can't find a way to put a team away. You got to find a way to put them away. How do you put them away? Secure the football. Don't give them another opportunity. If you are Baltimore, I think it was something like after the game, Lamar Jackson shoved the fan or something. It was out of frustration. I'm pretty sure he apologized.
Yeah.
For what I get from Lamar Jackson, he's not that type of person. But if you are the Ravens, you're like, dude, what are we doing? 40-25, most teams is over with. You lost 41-40. You are 41-40 because first name Josh, last name Allen. He's Houdini. If you need it done, he can get it done. If whatever you need Josh Allen to do, it's why we love football. It was a thriller in week 1. I don't know if anybody can live up to that in the coming weeks, but if you are Baltimore, you know they're gonna finish. I mean, nobody closes the regular season like the Baltimore Ravens, but nobody has a problem with finishing games and putting them away more than the Baltimore Ravens. They can't do it. You know how many Buffalo Bills fans was on their way to the crib, and then they looked up something. Hey, they just scored again. What, they trying to get back in the stadium? Baltimore, you'll be fine. Buffalo, here's the only problem with that. You can't win every game like that if you're a Buffalo. You're going to run out of gas. So while we talk about what Baltimore didn't, the Buffalo Bills defense, who has Joey Bosa over there, they didn't stop nobody. They couldn't stop a nosebleed either. They couldn't stop anything. You just got Superman over there named Josh Allen. But it lived up to it. Sean McDermott, Coach Harbaugh, you talk about Derrick Henry, you talk about James Cook, talk about Lamar Jackson, you talk about Josh Allen. You had all the stars. And for those you say, man, why do you keep saying that? Because Lamar Jackson is my fantasy quarterback, and Derrick Henry is my fantasy running back, and James Cook is my fantasy running back as well. So I got a lot of points. But great game is still not doing it justice. I loved it. And like we say, Smitty, the better team won. They just happened to be the one. They just happened to be the home team.
And then currently on Monday Night Football, it is halftime. The Chicago Bears are leading the Minnesota Vikings 10-6. Caleb Williams, 9-yard rushing touchdown, the only touchdown in this game through 2 quarters.
It's a battle of defenses. Minnesota got incredible defense. You know what Chicago is bringing back on defense. Ben Johnson, the Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams marriage, so far so good. They getting along with him having the only touchdown. But Smitty, here's the thing, halftime adjustments. Can Caleb Williams play within the confines of the offense, not try to start playing hero ball, not throwing in the windows that aren't there, not throwing it to the other team? And if you are Minnesota, can you protect your second-year quarterback, who was really in his first year because he missed his old rookie year? Can you put him in position to not have to win it and try to go out there and make a play for him?
And before we wrap it up with our week 2 preview, top 5 games to watch, and as usual, last year Ben and I will preview our top 5 games to watch for the upcoming NFL week slate. We also have a toilet bowl as well, just because even though it's only week 2, I'm going to do a toilet bowl every week because we call it the corner TV game for people who just for a game that people don't really want to watch. But before we do that, let me just go over the quick news and notes. You already talked about one of them. I'm going to stack these really quickly. 49ers tight end George Kittle out weeks with a hamstring injury. Brock Purdy could miss week 2 as well. He is iffy for the New Orleans Saints. Kittle out a few weeks with that injury. And then not sure about Purdy in New Orleans week number 2. there. And then Jaguars sending Tank Bigsby to Philadelphia, what you mentioned earlier, for a 5th and 6th round pick. And Giants stick with Russell Wilson versus the Cowboys in week number 2.
I mean, Tank Bigsby going to the Eagles shows what Howard Roseman is, who he is. Brock Purdy and George Kittle could be out. That's crazy because obviously Brock Purdy wasn't on the injury list after the game. Brock Bowers being out is going to definitely hurt the Raiders team that runs their offense through him. Yep. But like I said, man, it's going to be one of those. It's going to be one of those. Just because they play the whole game doesn't mean they're not nursing some injuries and things like that. But hey, man, we will be watching. We will definitely be watching.
Chargers linebacker Denzel Perryman sidelined with an ankle injury. Saints lose Julian Blackmon for the year, injured his shoulder. And ex-Dolphins quarterback we talked about a little bit earlier, Xavier Howard, says Colts force Tua into panic mode in their third game. Did you get all that?
No, what you said then?
I'll start over. Saints lose Julian Blackmon for the year with a shoulder injury. Chargers linebacker Denzel Perryman out with an ankle injury, and then ex-Dolphins quarterback Xavier Howard says Colts force Tua into panic mode in their 33-8 win over the Dolphins.
Also, now Xavier Howard got a lot to say about his former team. This should be less about what you're saying about your former team when you're coming at your former teammate. I'm not saying he's lying. That's the thing. I'm not saying he's lying, but this is Xavier Howard finally gets to express some frustration because, he was over there with the Dolphins a long time and can't really talk about the quarterback if you want to keep your job. But I see Xavier, but you better keep making plays when you're talking trash like that. But, hey, man, he looked panicked. Anything that had to do with frustration, panic, yeah, they did all that to him and more, no doubt.
And then the injuries, do you have any comment on those, or should I keep going?
No, you keep going. You good. Because both of those guys, you go ahead.
Yep. And then real quick, before I go to the week 2 games, what do you think about what Vrabel coming out and saying Bill Belichick welcome at the Patriots facility after news came out? Belichick is banning scouts from the Broncos and the Patriots at UNC. What is this? As a former player, played in the NFL, who went through the college combine scouting process and everything like that, what do you think about this whole?
It's weak. Now I will say that it is weak, but what else can Vrabel say? It's the GOAT, right? I can't say to Bill Belichick what Bill Belichick has said to us, right? Because he understands that some of these guys, I don't want to try to alienate, and I might be trying to draft from UNC. Who knows? I don't want to say nothing crazy. But come on, Vrabel, man. I mean, what he said in public is not what he says in private. He's like, man, what you mean? We don't want y'all coming up anyway. But it is Bill Belichick. It is Mike Vrabel. He wanted you to, because he knows that Bill Belichick probably going to be going in the, Patriots Ring of Honor if he ain't already in there. So I get it, but it's still weak sauce from Vrabel.
And that is the latest headlines and injuries around the league. Let's go now into week number 2, our top 5 games to watch. I will start us off here. My top 5 games to watch for week number 2 and a toilet bowl at that. I'll save my toilet bowl for last. Number 5, Jaguars at the Cincinnati Bengals. One of these two teams is going to be 2-0. Joe Burrow versus Trevor Lawrence. I like this matchup at number 5. Number 4, Thursday Night Football. Commanders at Packers to start out week number 2. One of those two teams will be 2-0 as well. I like the Packers to win that one, but Packers-Commanders to start out Thursday Night Football in week number 2. That's number 4 on this list. Number 3, Giants-Cowboys. You got to love a good NFC East rivalry. Somebody's going to go to 0-2. Giants-Cowboys, always a closer than expected rivalry there in the Big D. Let's go number 2. Let's go to Monday Night Football. Buccaneers-Texans. They're from Houston. That is going to be a great matchup between C.J. Stroud and Baker Mayfield going head-to-head there in H-Town. And then my number 1 is the Super Bowl rematch, Eagles-Chiefs in Arrowhead Stadium, 4:25 start on Sunday afternoon there in Arrowhead. Eagles-Chiefs, my number one game to watch here in week number 2. And then for those scoring at home, if you have a toilet bowl, if you think you should want to watch this game, if you need some therapy help or something to go for you here, you can go ahead and get to the corner of your TV and watch Patriots-Dolphins.
Well, you know what? My number 5, Broncos-Colts. You talk about Bo Nix, you talk about Daniel Jones. They got in there, and the Broncos got to go on the road. One of these teams are going to be 2-0. One of these teams are going to be 1-1. I think it's going to be a better game than people give it credit for. My number 4 is Patriots-Dolphins for this reason. If the Patriots beat the Dolphins and they beat them like they got beat on Sunday, Mike McDaniels, he ain't going to want to sit down because that seat is going to be ridiculous hot because now you talk about a team you're supposed to be better than and you getting beat by. So I'm looking at that from the controversy type place. My number 3, Commanders-Packers. What? You talking about Jaden Daniels? He get to go to Green Bay. I think this is going to be a good one. Jordan, you got 2 of the young faces of the National Football League, in Jaden Daniels and Jordan Love. I think it's going to be really, really good. My number 2, you got the payback game. Seahawks at the Steelers. Also, y'all don't want me no more if I'm DK? Y'all don't think I'm that good no more? Go. When y'all come here, I want every DB on that team. Y'all know I need to go to anger management classes because I ain't went to one of them yet. I ain't never seen the DB I like, including my own teammates. And my number 1 is your number 1. It's going to be Eagles-Chiefs. Let me tell you something. The Chiefs need a win in the worst way, and and that offensive line better show up for Patrick Mahomes, boy. So I think it's going to be a really Jalen Carter. I bet he ain't going to be spitting on nobody come Sunday, which is crazy. But I'm looking at my toilet bowl game because of what you just said. 49ers Saints. No Brock Purdy, potentially. No George Kittle. So who is it going to be? I mean, Trey Lance.
Is Christian McCaffrey? No, Trey Lance is no longer there. He's in Chargers now.
So who's the backup to Brock Purdy?
I believe it's Brandon Allen. Listen. Is Christian McCaffrey going to take snaps again?
Listen. Brandon Allen versus Spencer Rattler. Boy, that's what you signed up for, right? Brandon Allen versus Spencer Rattler. That will be your toilet bowl game. It is going to be hard to watch. Fred Warner is going to have 39 tackles. Guaranteed. It's going to be a 10-7, all-out defensive fest. That is going to be my toilet.
I'm sorry. I stand corrected. Brandon Allen, I think, is 3rd string. I stand corrected. The backup quarterback is Mac Jones.
Whoa. Blast from the past. Even crazier. Mac Jones versus Spencer Rattler. Former Alabama Crimson Tide versus former, South Carolina Gamecock, Oklahoma Sooner, whatever you want to call him. It will be a former SEC matchup on Sunday. Let's get it in.
And that was the preview for week 2 here on Winning the Division, what to watch for. As Ben and I wrap it up here for episode number 62, we'll be back next week for breaking it all down once again here on Winning the Division. Remember, you were either winning your division or you were just in your division. For Ben Troupe, I'm Ryan Smith. Rate, review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcast. And we will see you guys next time.